Now it's an honor for me to introduce today's keynote speaker. Tommy Two Gloves Gainey is a former A.O. Smith employee who turned his dream of becoming a pro golfer into reality and recently won his first PGA Tour event. Joining Tommy is former PGA Tour professional and one of golf's most entertaining personalities, Golf Channel analyst Charlie Reimer.
There are many distinct swings on the PGA Tour. Jim Furyk, Bubba Watson, and Ricky Fowler are all supremely talented players with unique games. But perhaps no one on tour personifies original as much as Tommy Two Gloves Gainey.
My swing's ugly, and it's unorthodox. As I grew up playing baseball, I wore two gloves when I was batting, and I just took it into golf.
Gainey never played college golf, and after graduating from Central Carolina Technical College, he began his circuitous route to the PGA Tour on the assembly line at A.O. Smith, wrapping insulation around water heaters. But his big break came, appropriately enough, through the show The Big Break on Golf Channel in 2005.
If I wasn't on The Big Break, then the world would have not met Tommy Gainey, and I have to give them thanks. I'm very blessed. It just goes to show you that dreams can come true and hard work does pay off.
Unfortunately, the show didn't translate to sustained success for Gainey. He bounced between tours for the next few seasons, making just 14 of 40 cuts on the PGA Tour from 07 to 09. He never finished higher than 191st in the FedEx Cup standings and lost his tour card. But after 2 wins on the Nationwide Tour in 2010, Gainey regained his card and his confidence, and now sits 40th in the FedEx Cup standings.
2008, 2009 was brutal. I just played terrible those 2 years, but something happened in 2010 that I kept working hard, trying to fix it, try to get better. And that's what you gotta do.
Gainey has improved his scoring average by almost 1.5 strokes since his rookie season of 2008. He ranked 71st on tour this season with a 70.65 average, crediting the improvement to his confidence on the greens.
The putter has changed my game the last 2 years. It shows because I won 2 tournaments last year on the Nationwide Tour, and this year I was close to winning twice, so I feel like every putt I get over, I'm going to make. That's a great feeling to have.
One of those aforementioned close calls came at the Waste Management Phoenix Open in February, where he trailed by just 1 shot with 2 holes to go, before a triple bogey on the par 4 17th dropped him into a tie for 8th.
And a great chance to win until now.
The most positive thing that I took out of that week is I was very close to winning my first tournament.
Well, he came close again in consecutive weeks at the RBC Heritage and the Zurich Classic of New Orleans, finishing 3rd on both occasions.
I'll have more chances. I just got to be patient and let it come to me and don't force it. Got a good shot at finishing in the top 30 this year, and that's my goal.
Once unheralded and unknown, Tommy Two Gloves is now unmistakable on the course and a true fan favorite. Not bad for a guy who never played college golf.
This is the best job in the world by far, and I'm just lucky and I'm blessed to be out here.
And this whole location tucked right over the bunker, but the greens are very receptive. There's no wind to speak of. Tommy Gainey is taking dead aim. That putt would get him, if he were to make it, within 1 shot of the lead. Right in the center. Par 5 15, second shot in the bunker.
No.
Great hand action out.
Dude, that double gloves. He holds for eagle.
Tommy Gainey for a birdie. This would be 6 threes in a row.
Uphill and back downhill, breaking to the left.
And to go 10 under par for the round? 10 under par, 2 holes to play. It's a par 70. How about a 59 or a 58? Awesome.
Tommy Gainey taps it in for his par after 7 consecutive threes. He puts a 4 on the card at 18, but nobody on the PGA Tour has had a better round this year than Tommy Two Gloves Gainey. A final round 60 at the McGladrey Classic. He's 16 under par.
Tommy Two Gloves a real character out here, isn't he? I mean, he's a sort of a beloved figure. He's fun to be around, and you know, double gloves. I mean, that's his thing. But he can play a little bit too.
He stands out here because the golf swing doesn't look polished at all. His brother Alan is his instructor. He also stands out because he found his way on the PGA Tour through sort of unconventional means. I mean, he played. He was on Big Break 5. He won Big Break 7. These are not the credentials that you typically spit out when you start talking about players and finding their way onto the PGA Tour. Contestant on those, he found a huge following because he is a character, but he's got an interesting golf swing, certainly, but he's a nice guy too. I mean, everybody that talks to him has been spending any time around, and if you didn't get a chance to watch the Waste Management Open last year, you saw him make this horrific. I think he made a quadruple or quintuple bogey on the 71st hole, and he handled it with great class afterwards, talking about there'll be plenty more tournaments for him to compete in. No bitterness whatsoever. So great character, but nice guy as well.
And a number of years ago, Tommy Two Gloves Gainey was wrapping insulation around water heaters in a factory in South Carolina. He has fought the long battle.
Thanks, Rich. I'm here with the winner. You got new irons in the bag, a new driver, but today the putter is what really came through for you.
Yeah, you know, I had a hot putter today, but before we get to that, I got to thank my sponsors, man. You know, A.O. Smith, the Dow Group, and Callaway for supplying me with the clubs, man, because I tell you, it's been a hard year for me, and finally, we got it right.
You came through on 15 and 16, the eagle on 15, the birdie on 16. What was your thought process coming down the stretch?
I was just trying to hit fairways, trying to take it one shot at a time, you know, that old cliche. And I hit fairways, I hit greens, and, you know, my putter saved me.
With all that work, you are now a PGA Tour winner. Congratulations, Tommy Gainey.
Thanks a lot.
Back to you, Rich.
All right, Billy. Well, congratulations to Tommy Gainey. What a day. In a round of 60, and he wins it when he was 7 back.
Didn't see that coming. I mean, for a while there, we couldn't even calculate how many birdies Tommy Gainey had made, how far back he started. But what a day.
Hey folks, how you guys doing? I got a little PGA Tour winner with me here today, one of the newest PGA Tour winners at just burst onto the scene with a 60 in the final round. You guys just saw the highlights of that. 60, by the way, is the second lowest score ever shot in the history of the PGA Tour. So how about it for Tommy Gainey? Hey, Tommy, will you walk us through that 60 that you put up on Sunday and winning the McGladrey Classic?
Wow. Well, you know, I was leading into the golf tournament. Let's see, that final round, I think I was like tied for 32nd. So when you're tied for 32nd, the only way what I'm thinking about is I'm trying to make a lot of birdies and improve my position. I know that golf course has let a lot of scores on it, a lot of low scores, that is, because I think last year, Ben Crane shot 60 in the final round or 60 in the third round or something like that. So, but my goal was to improve my position. You know, I've had a bad year leading up to the McGladrey Classic, and I was just trying to make birdies that last day. But I tell you what, you know, I'm glad that I have a good putter.
Let me correct you. That course record that Ben Crane shot last year was 62. You clipped him by 2, by the way. When did you know that was going to be a really special round? I was in our studio, our Golf Channel studio in Orlando following. Obviously, we knew what was going on. But when did you really know that this is a special day? Because I could see his eyes were about that big, folks. He was in the zone. When did you know it was going to be a cool day?
Well, the eagle on 15, you know, the chip in out of the bunker.
That right there, on the previous hole, I made like a 20-footer for a birdie, and at the time, I didn't know it was tied me for the lead. So I didn't pay any attention to that, but I got on 15, and my thought was, you know, just trying to hit the fairway and have a good yardage to go at it into. And I wanted to eagle putt at it to see if I could make eagle, but, you know, I would really be happy with a birdie. So, you know, the way it was going, that chip in on 15 really cemented my status as being a special day.
Well, and the round was so special because you actually had a putt at 59 on the last hole. I'm going to give him a hard time because he left that one short, didn't you?
You know, I did leave it short, but you know what? It's like 16 or 18 feet I had. It was kind of a hard putt to read because myself and my caddy, Marvin, we read this putt to break right and then back left at the hole. And actually, it looked like it stayed pretty straight and then broke right at the hole. So it was kind of a little misread, but I mean, listen, man, those greens were rolling 12. So, I mean, if you get it with any speed to the hole, it's 4 or 5 feet by. So why do I want to put myself in that position with being 10 under for the day?
Well, he left a putt for 59 short. I saw the reaction. He was pissed. You were pissed, weren't you?
Well,
golfers never get enough, right?
Well, I wasn't exactly mad, but I mean, it would have been nice to make it for 59. But, you know, the interesting thing about that is I wasn't even thinking about 59. I mean, I was thinking about trying to make the putt.
Yeah.
It didn't go in, but you know what? I was happy with the way it ended up.
Yeah, I think a lot of folks were happy with the way it ended up. After you signed your scorecard, the golf tournament was playing out behind you. You had, what, a couple of hours to sit around and think? What kind of thoughts were going through your mind when you posted this unbelievable score? You think maybe it's good enough, you're going to win for the first time on the PGA Tour, and you got 2 hours to think about it.
Well, you know what? I was glad it was over. I was glad I was done. I was ready to just go sit down, get a little something to eat, and just kind of chill. And, you know, when you got players like Jim Furyk, Davis Love III, David Toms, I mean, class act players and people, and they're chasing me. They're chasing Tommy Gainey. Can you believe that? I mean, I got a 2-shot lead in the house, and they're chasing me. Never thought of that. But you know, I was very relieved to get that putt in there and just get in and chill and just watch golf. And it was very nerve-wracking, and I tried to get my flip phone out, which y'all understood me, right? I did say flip phone. So I took it out and started answering some text messages from my friends and my family, and just trying to pass the time away. But I've caught T-mortal crap from everybody in the country about, can you believe this guy, Tommy Two Gloves Gainey, has a flip phone? Get this guy in the 21st century, will you? So I've caught a lot of, but that's okay. That's okay. It is who I am, and, you know, that'll never change.
Just in case you didn't hear that, he said he caught T-mortal crap. That's a technical term we use in South Carolina. You're wearing the A.O. Smith hat. You worked in the A.O. Smith plant in McBee, South Carolina, wrapping insulation around water tanks. Now A.O. Smith sponsors you on the PGA Tour. Talk to me about how special that relationship is for you.
Well, I don't think you can put it into words. A.O. Smith gave me an opportunity for a job back in the day. I'm 37 years old, by the way. So this has been quite a while. I mean, a long time ago. But, you know, I appreciate them taking a chance on me of giving me an opportunity to work for a classy company. And one that looks out for their employees, because they understand the employees make the product, but without the people supporting the employees, there is no company. They understand that. And I'm so happy to be a part of it back then, and very happy to be a part of it now. And I give them all the credit for being a part of such a great organization and company.
Do you ever get back over to the plant and catch up with some of your old buddies?
Oh, sure. But this year it's been kind of tough. I think I went over one time early this year. I plan on making another trip as soon as I get back home and get a little bit of rest, and because I've got some other stuff going on next week. But after that, I'll definitely make another appearance there, see some of my friends that I don't get to see much anymore, and kind of catch up a little bit.
I want to talk to you for the folks out there that may not be real familiar with Golf Channel. One of our top shows, we just completed the 19th season of Big Break on Golf Channel. We have any Big Break fans out there? Any folks familiar with the show?
Come on now, you got to be a little better than that now.
It's a great show. I had a chance to host one of the seasons. I did such a great job they never brought me back, but I won't bring that up. Tommy has been on 2 seasons of Big Break. Your first season, you made it, I think, through 6 episodes. The second season, you came back and you won Big Break. Talk to us about how those experiences on Big Break helped you through this big moment, this big breakthrough in winning on the PGA Tour for the first time.
Well, I give a lot of credit to the Big Break and the Golf Channel for giving me opportunity, and I'll tell you why. To be on the show not only once, but twice. I mean, you've got players all over the country filling out these entry forms online or trying to go to these tryouts and interviews and stuff. I mean, they get up to like 10,000 entries to look at. They scout, trying to find the best players for the show that would fit what they're looking for. And, you know, I'm just a good old Southern country boy. And they gave me an opportunity to be on a show that I have to say is the most popular show on the Golf Channel. Nothing against you, Charlie.
I thought my show was pretty popular.
So, but, you know, it's a lot of fun, but you know what? That show, it's really, I mean, it's pressure. It's pressure-packed. Because you got the camera on you 24/7 except for when you go to bed. And you're looking at starting
They're working on trying to get them in there when they go to bed, too, by the way, folks.
But it's really pressure-packed. And what I mean by that is, can you imagine a camera being on you all day leading up to you going to bed? And then waking up the next morning, and even before that, before the next morning, you're going to bed at 11, 12 o'clock at night, and then you're getting up starting the next morning or the next episode at 5:30 in the morning. You get breakfast at 5:30, then you have to be at the Rock, as we call it, the Big Break sign. You have to be there at 6:30 is when they start shooting. So your time is very limited, and that camera's always in your face. And I give them a lot of credit for helping me get used to the camera, because trust me, the camera plays a big role out on tour. And if you can get used to the camera, you'll be fine. But if you can't get used to the camera, you're going to struggle, because all you're going to think about is this camera's on me. There's 100 million people watching or more. I don't want to power top this 20 yards. I don't want to duff this. I don't want to shank one, which, you know, nobody says shank in golf. I don't want to skull one 50 yards like I did in the Big Break 4. Out of the fairway at St. Andrews when I got eliminated, I hit me a nice wedge from 90 yards, flew the green, hit this blue van, kicked back on the golf course. So I must say, trust me, I know. But if I'm going to go out, what's a better way to go out than St. Andrews?
Yeah, a lot of people, I think, when they look at Big Break, sort of think, you know, this is a reality show. But the competition is real. Each one of those challenges, I mean, you guys were put in very nerve-wracking situations.
Oh, no doubt about it. Well, see, the hardest thing about the Big Break versus playing golf is the Big Break is you have one opportunity, and that means one shot. You hit one bad shot, one good shot, or one mediocre shot, you could be kicked off the show. Now, when you're playing 18 holes in a tournament, you could have 2 bad holes. You still got 16 holes left. you can come back and cut down on the damage that's what was happened in the first 2 holes, or whatever 2-hole stretch that happened in that round. So that one shot means a lot, and especially if you're under the gun and you know you need to hit a good shot or you're gone, there's no pressure like that.
I'm going to ask Tommy one more question, and if you guys would like, we've got some live mics out here in the audience. Tommy will be happy to take a few questions, but before we get to that, Tommy, the most popular question that I know you ever get, you aren't just Tommy Gainey, you're Tommy Two Gloves Gainey, and that certainly makes you stand out on the PGA Tour. Tell us the story behind the 2 gloves.
Well, you know, the 2 gloves came from my father. God bless him as well. He was the one to introduce me to this great game of golf that I play. And without him introducing me, then I wouldn't be here before you all today. And I would still be at A.O. Smith working, wrapping insulation on water heaters, which is not a bad thing, but I like this job a little better. You hear me, Chisholm? But anyway, you know, I give him all the credit. But I started wearing 2 gloves playing baseball. When I played baseball as a kid, which was my first love. Really loved baseball, and I was really good at it. I was a pitcher, a third baseman, and an outfielder. Could do it all. So when I batted, I used 2 gloves batting because I had kind of a strong grip, and you know, if you grip anything strong, you know, it's going to leave a callus on your hand for a certain period of time. So, you know, I tried that, and then Dad introduced me to the game of golf, and, you know, I just started using his old gloves when he was done with them and started wearing 2 gloves. And, you know, I took that from then to now, and I'm glad that he introduced me to the game, and I'm glad to be sitting in front of you and saying that I'm a PGA Tour winner. And without my dad's introduction, I wouldn't be able to say that.
Are you starting to see in the South Carolina area, Camden, South Carolina, where you live, are you starting to see any kids showing up playing 2 gloves? You ever run into that when you're out on the road?
You know, I've seen a couple, and I'm on Twitter now. I'm sure everybody knows
That's a miracle
handle.
right there, folks.
I'm sure everybody knows my handle on Twitter at 2 Gloves Golf. So,
on your flip phone, you're on Twitter.
No, that's my iPhone. I got an iPhone.
Oh, you got an iPhone, too. You didn't tell me about that, because it's hard to tweet on a flip phone.
I mean, I got you. I got you. But, you know, I get tweets all the time, like every other day. Some kids trying 2 gloves, and they saying thank you for your inspiration for me to giving it an opportunity to try it. And I see how successful you are. I want to try it because my plan is to be successful as well. And for me, for a kid to tell me that and to also look up to me as like a role model and trying to live up to what I'm doing, I mean, there's no better compliment than that.
Folks, do you guys have any questions for Tommy?
Don't be shy.
Yes, sir.
You almost got to know I'm not shy. When did you pick up your first golf club, Tommy, and when did you have any inclination that you may be good enough to play on the tour?
Oh, what a great question. I picked up my first club between the ages of 9 and 10. You know, since it's been so long ago, I've had a hard time trying to pinpoint that exact day. But you know, the question about when I knew that I was good enough to play professionally, I would have to thank my friends, family, and all the other support system that I have. Because when it wasn't going good for me, they told me, listen, man, just keep your head up. You're good enough to make it out there. You know, it's all about timing, and it's all about getting a break. And without all that advice from my family, friends, and other people in my support system, I mean, I wouldn't be here today, no doubt.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay.
When you started at 9 or 10, how long did it take you before you were a scratch golfer? And now that you're at the level you're at, how much time do you dedicate to the game? And are you going out there
Okay. That's a couple good questions. Wow. Man, he kind of stumped me on one here.
You remember the first, on the scratch golfer question, you remember the first time you broke par? You remember that day?
Well, you know, when we first started playing, we would play on the weekends, and we would walk or actually play marathon golf. We would see how many holes we could play that Saturday or that Sunday after church. We would play anywhere from 45 to 54. And
after church?
After church.
You went to early church then?
It got out at lunchtime.
Yeah, okay.
It got out at lunchtime. But, you know, we probably around 15, because one of the things when I started playing, I don't know what it was, I could hit the ball pretty good. I could make a lot of birdies, but I could also make a lot of doubles and triples. I'd hit that one shot that it'd be a rope hook, it'd go in the water or out of bounds or in a field or in somebody's yard, then I'd have to re-tee and make double or triple. But, you know, as far as that, around the age of 15. Now, the second question about how much time I dedicate to my game now, you know, I play a lot on the road, and I play a lot of tournaments. You know, when I get home, I have a son that's 4. I have family that I don't see very much because I travel a lot. I try to dedicate that time when I get home to my family and my son and my wife. Just spend some time with them and kind of just rest up. And, you know, when I do get a chance to beat it around, I'll beat it around with some of my buddies that I don't get to see on a daily basis. And I miss that, you know, because I used to play in a lot of games with all my friends around the courses in the PD area and other places as well. So I pretty much play, I don't practice that much. I practice on the short game. As far as beating balls, I just hit 25 or 30 just to get loose, to get an idea which way the ball's going, if it's going right to left or if it's going left to right. And I just take it from there.
When you got talent, you don't have to practice that much. At least that's what I've been told. Yes, sir.
Have you had a chance to play with Tiger Woods or interact with him? And if so, what's he like inside the ropes, maybe that we don't get to see?
You know, I have not played with Tiger yet. But I have interacted with Tiger last year at the AT&T National at Aronimink. One of my good friends was playing the little concert for Tiger at his tournament. His name's Darius Rucker. You probably have heard of him. He's a good friend of mine, and him and Tiger are pretty tight as well.
I'm friends with Darius, too.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
Okay.
But, you know, the times that I interacted with Tiger, it was about 45 minutes, and we talked. You know, we both have kids. We talked about kids. We talked about his health, his knee, how it's doing, because I think everyone knows last year at Aronimink, he could not play because he was rehabbing his knee. So I was talking to him about that, see how it was going, and we were just talking about everything, about golf, and, you know, he said that you were having a good year, and, you know, good playing, keep it up, and won't you come out here and get you a win this week? And, you know, I told him I was trying, and I told him, I said, well, thanks for the invite. He said, no, you earned it. And we just talked about a couple other things, and, you know, it was good. Let me just say this. Tiger's cool. I haven't had that chance to get inside the ropes with him, but outside, I mean, he's just as cool as anybody else. I mean, he's just a good dude. And the thing about Tiger is when he got in trouble, you know, the camera's always on him. So, I mean, it's 24/7 with Tiger Woods. He can't go anywhere without the camera being on him, or TMZ, or anybody else. So, but, you know, everybody makes mistakes. He made one. He paid for it. And, you know, he's learned a lesson. And to me, he's a better man now than he was. And I'm just thankful to know him and appreciate him being the golfer that he is, because he's helped out the PGA Tour quite a bit with the sponsors, the money, the charity donations. It all works hand in hand, and he is the needle of the PGA Tour because everyone wants to see Tiger Woods play. And I'm one of those guys. I'm a fan. I mean, what can I say?
I'll provide you just a little more insight. I've actually got a chance to play with Tiger a couple times. He is the needle. He's got a sharp needle. He's got a sharp sense of humor. He's very sarcastic. He's a lot of fun to be around. And it's a little distracting because he has a lot of gas when he plays. And a lot of people wouldn't realize that about Tiger, but he does. And he's very strategic when he uses it. You got a little match with him, which to me was always very impressive. Anyone else with a question for Tommy? Yes, sir. Is it about gas? Because that's my specialty.
You know, I mean, that's a 50-50 question. I mean, you could, I'm a well-liked guy. I mean, I like everybody until they give me a reason not to like them. But I believe it shouldn't matter who you play with. I mean, the ultimate goal is to win. So it shouldn't matter if you're playing with Tiger, if you're playing with Phil, or if you're playing with Jason Duffner, if you're playing with Couples, Davis Love. Shouldn't matter who you play with because the ultimate goal is to win the golf tournament and to beat those guys and everybody else in the field.
As for me, it was a different question for me because I like playing with the guys too, but my challenge was practice rounds. I never could get anybody to play a practice round with me. But the tournament rounds were fun. They had to. I like that the best. Anyone else? Tommy, we're going to wrap up here in a second, but just a couple more questions for you. You went through a big equipment change this year. Next year, we're going to see on the PGA Tour, world #1 player Roy McIlroy going through an equipment change. He's leaving Titleist and he's going to Nike. How big a deal was the equipment change for you, and do you see Roy McIlroy having any issues as he switches over to Nike?
Well, you know, I thought changing equipment wouldn't be that big of a deal. That was my first thought. But because I grew up playing a lot of Callaway equipment. And so when I changed the equipment, you know, I realized that I didn't think it wasn't that big of a deal. I was glad to be with Callaway and still am. They have the best stuff out there if you ask me. So when I changed, that was my mindset. But as the season gone along, it seems like we were tweaking something every week. Driver tweaking every week, irons tweaking every week, just trying to get the specs to fit me. And, you know, it took me about, I don't know, like 5 months to get to where I felt really confident in the clubs. Because I finished third in the Colonial, the Crown Plaza at Colonial in Dallas, Texas, and Fort Worth. So, you know, that was my best finish of 2012, because the rest of the tournaments I either missed a cut Well, I finished like 40th, or even worse. And, you know, I think everybody can understand that 40th is not very good. Not after I had 7 top 10s the previous year. So we just kept working on it, and finally we got the driver right. We had to go outside the box, but we got it right at the McGladrey Classic. And everything just clicked, you know, because it was a brand new set of irons. I first started the year with the Diablo Forged, and I switched at Vegas playing the Callaway Razor X irons. And I didn't play very good in Vegas. I think I missed a cut. So for my second tournament with them was at McGladrey Classic. And I won the golf tournament with these irons. In my second tournament, played with them. So, but the biggest thing was the driver. Because that week I averaged 70+% in fairways. Excuse me. So, 70+% in fairways. And plus, I can make a lot of birdies. If I can get it on the greens with my putter, I can make a lot of putts. And that's what happened. I just started hitting fairways, and I made a lot of putts, and I won the golf tournament. But it was big. It was a lot bigger than I thought. And now we talking about Rory now. I think he might want to take it seriously, because in previous years, I think you've seen players that once they went from one company to another, it's been a hard change. Mm-hmm. And I think if he takes it, well, I mean, excuse me, it's going to be a hard change for him, I think, my opinion. Mm-hmm. Because with those irons from Titleist, I think he was with, he won 5 tournaments this year. One of those 5 is a major. And let me tell you, Tiger said it best. When you win a major, winning a tournament is good, but when you win a major, you've had a great year. So 5 wins in a major, that's pretty awesome. So if he takes it seriously, I think he'll be all right. But if he doesn't,
be a challenge.
I think it'll be a challenge and a problem.
And if he's not all right, folks, for the record, he just signed a 10-year deal worth $20 million a year. So I think if they don't work immediately, he's got a little bit of a cushion.
Yeah, he's got more time.
So he'll be all right. Well, if you guys don't have any more questions for Tommy, we're going to go ahead. Yes, sir.
How important is the golf ball to your game? I mean, I've played Pro Vs and all the latest Nikes and that, but I typically always go back to Pro Vs, so that seems to be the major brand on tour. What's your thoughts on the golf balls?
Well, I'm going to tell you, obviously a lot of those guys out there hadn't tried the Callaway ball yet. But, I mean, the Callaway ball is good. And I'm not just saying that because I'm sponsored by them. I'm telling you because it's good, because it is. I just won a golf tournament with them. And I know every time I hit that golf ball, what I can do with it. If I need to spin it, it'll spin. If I need to hit it to where it can release, I can do that. And when you know, excuse me, once you know that at any given time you can make that golf ball do what you want, sky's the limit out there. Because there's a lot of guys that plays a golf ball, I mean, they can hit it, and one time it might spin back 15 feet, the next time it might not spin back at all when they need it to come back. So, I mean, but it seems like the golf balls are pretty close out there, but I think the Callaway ball is better. Just look who plays the Callaway ball. Just look at the players.
Anyone else? Yes, sir.
Do you have any tricks or things you use
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. The question was tricks that Tommy has after you make a big number to come back. We call that liquor. How do you deal with tragedy?
Well, I can deal with it a lot better now that I've won and I've got a 2-year exemption.
And a big bank account too.
But you know, it's hard because it seems like every shot out there could be a make and break. And what you got to understand is you're playing golf. You're just trying to hit golf shots. You're trying to hit the best possible golf shot you can. You can't worry about where it goes because you know sooner or later you're going to have a day where you're not going to hit it near as good as you want to. And you're going to struggle, and you're going to try to get it up and down out of a trash can. And you just gotta trust your game enough and have enough confidence that it's good enough to get the job done. You just can't force the issue. Because once you force it, it goes south and in a hurry.
I think we got time for one more, if anyone has one. Yes, sir, in the front row.
It does not. It does not get me into Augusta. But let me tell you, just won the McGladrey Classic. I can't be disappointed about a PGA Tour win. I mean, it'd be nice to get into Augusta, but a PGA Tour win, nothing to be disappointed about. Well, this year it's going to be a FedEx thing. Just got to win. I mean, winning takes care of everything. And since I won the first one, now it's time to go after number 2.
Tommy's got a lot of avenues available to him to play his way into Augusta in April. If he gets off to a hot start in January, I think he's got a real good shot of moving high enough up the money list to get in. Tommy, we're going to go ahead and wrap up. Your next start on the PGA Tour is the Hyundai Tournament of Champions. It's in Maui the first full week in January. We've got all 4 rounds on Golf Channel and prime time on the East Coast, by the way. I know you got to be looking forward to headed to Maui.
No doubt. I'm looking forward to going to Maui, but I think my wife is looking more forward to it than I am. But so, you know, I'm definitely looking forward to it. You know, it's just to be a part of a tournament when it says Hyundai Tournament of Champions. I'm definitely looking forward to it.
Well, folks, Tommy's going to be around this afternoon. If you want to stop by and talk to Tommy, he's going to be signing some autographs and hanging out at the A.O. Smith Water Systems booth. That's booth 345. He's going to be there at 1 p.m. Tommy, we sure appreciate your time. Ladies and gentlemen, the PGA Tour, one of the PGA Tour's newest winners, a great American success story, Tommy Gainey. Thank you very much.
Thanks. Thanks, man.